What's up, everybody? Sam Dog, the infamous 253, coming at you with Dallas Stewart on the speakerphone, and we are here now basically to recap and talk about and do our top 5 wins of the Seahawks 2020 season, the top 5 Seahawks wins of the season, basically through me and Dallas's opinion, our favorite wins of the year. Dallas, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, so time to basically get into this. We did this last year. I mean, I used to do 3, basically.
2018, we only had 3, because we could only think of 3, but I think there was enough quality wins to have 5, just like there were last year.
Yeah. So without further ado, time for us to get into our top 5 Seahawks wins of the 2020 season. Number 5, we're going to start this one out with the win against the with our win against the Dallas Cowboys at number 5, because of how crazy that game was and the shootout that it was between Russell Wilson and Dak Prescott. Of course, Metcalf had the one stupid play where he let that rookie Diggs, hit the ball out of his hands, which he would have had an easy walk-in touchdown, but he celebrated too early, which resulted in a touchback. And then Dak had 2 interceptions, including the one at the end to Ryan Neal, and I remember he got stripped by Benson Mayowa.
Also, Greg Zerlin in that game missed an extra point and had one blocked. We also had a 15-point lead and let him come back, and DK Metcalf caught a tone for that blunder he made by letting the ball get knocked out of his hands for a touchback, and Jacob Hollister had the game-winning 2-point conversion.
Yeah, to put us up by 7, and I remember after that we were saying Stephen A. Smith troll away because he always trolls the Cowboys every time they lose.
Also, what else was I going to say about that game?
Ryan Neal's interception at the end.
Ryan Neal's interception was huge in the end zone on that final desperation drive that they had.
Yeah, and then also what else was huge was when Greg Olsen converted that 4th down on that on a drive too.
On that game-winning touchdown drive, I forgot about that play.
Yeah, and DK Metcalf caught the touchdown. Of course, redeemed himself from earlier. So.
And Lockett had a monster game. Lockett had 3 touchdowns in that game.
I think Lockett's 3 touchdowns were in the first half. Did he have?
And also getting a safety in that game.
Yeah,
we tackled Elliott in the backfield.
Yeah, we stuffed Zeke Elliott for the safety in that one.
Zerlin really cost him that game with the missed extra point and the blocked extra point.
Yeah, I forgot who blocked that extra point.
I think it was Trey Flowers that got the block.
Yeah, and that's basically win number 5, and
it was a huge reason why the Cowboys did not win a horrible NFC East. That loss right there.
That would be part result until they lost to the Giants in Week 17, I would say. Yeah, definitely put that one on them before. Obviously,
before. It was an exciting game, and we watched it outside of the stadium
at Al's.
And it was nice out because it was in like Week 3.
Yeah, September Week 3.
It was a heart pounder for sure.
Yeah, and then. But yeah, it was. I think this was the week before. I think it might have been before Dak got hurt.
I think it was like 2 weeks before he got hurt.
Yeah. All right, on to our number 4 best win of the season. Number 4, we'd have to say, was our win against the LA Rams in after we beat the Washington football team to win the NFC West. Granted, we know they're still playing in that too, because the Rams and Sean McVay, they've always been a thorn in our side, and they've always been tough. They're always good, they're well coached, and that one was a battle. And the highlight of that one was basically, we didn't allow them in the end zone once, and Myers made his field goals, and we were tied at the half, and then we went on that drive, and Wilson capped it off with a touchdown. Moore had a nice over 45-yard catch, and then drove downfield, and then at the end, Jacob Hollister caught the caught the game-sealing touchdown, which basically won us the division.
I think one of the big plays in that game, Jamal Adams stopping Darrell Henderson on the third and goal play when it was 13-6.
Which resulted in a huge goal line stand.
And then KJ Wright getting the tackle on fourth down.
Yeah, him and Jordan.
That goal line stand is probably the reason why we won that game.
Yeah, him and Jordan Brooks came up big in that game. I remember that one. And granted,
and obviously we injured Jared Goff in that game.
Yeah, but he's still playing now and going on into Green Bay, which we obviously expect Green Bay to win that game in the cold weather of and obviously in the cold weather being Green Bay's biggest advantage.
And it was nice because we took advantage of the Rams losing to the Jets the week before.
Yeah. Not that it meant anything because of, the wild card game that we played against them.
Yeah, it was a grinded out kind of game. But,
it was still a good game.
Definitely worthy of being in the top 5 because it was our first division title since 2016.
Yeah. It was our first division title since 2016. And we
got one interception of Goff.
Yeah, Quandre Diggs had the interception earlier in that game.
Yeah.
And that basically was what won us the division. Up next, at number 3, we have our win against the Arizona Cardinals, which was Carlos Dunlap's coming out party in that game, where he had 2 of the 3 sacks, including the sack that basically ended the game on that 4th down when Arizona was on that drive to try to tie the game. And then basically earlier in that game, DK Metcalf had the touchdown, and Carlos Hyde had a good game, and I remember Jamal
had a touchdown.
Say what?
Carlos Hyde had a touchdown in that game.
Yeah, Dre Kirkpatrick was a duck.
Lockett had a touchdown in that game.
DK Metcalf.
I think, yeah. Oh, yeah, Metcalf had the first touchdown. I think what cost Arizona in that game were 3 killer penalties.
Yeah, basically the first one was Dre Kirkpatrick, basically after they had a stop on Tyler Lockett on 3rd down, it was a 4th down, and then Dre Kirkpatrick tried fighting someone. He was a dummy, and it got the 15-yard penalty, which basically gave us a fresh set of downs, and that basically ended in the Carlos Hyde touchdown. Let's not forget Jamal Adams forcing Kyler Murray out and basically throwing it down to force an intentional grounding call, which backed them up to their own 1-yard line, and then basically, we tried going in, and L.J. Collier gets held by former Seahawk J.R. Sweezy in the end zone, which the hold occurred in the end zone, which resulted in the back-breaking safety. And then we basically went downfield and kicked a field goal, basically, when Hyde basically was lucky to get a fumble back on a missed handoff. And
we recovered 2 fumbles in that game, which is huge. Another key penalty was at the end of the first half when Patrick Peterson had an interference penalty on Metcalf, I believe it was.
Yeah, that
led to 3 points. And the Dre Kirkpatrick penalty is we would either had to kick a long field goal only up, I think we were up like 16-14 at the time, or we would have punted it, and that penalty led to 7 points.
Yeah,
which turned out to be huge. And then obviously the other huge penalty, the J.R. Sweezy holding penalty after the intentional grounding by Murray.
Yeah, that gave
3 penalties cost them like 9 points. Like 12 points.
And I would definitely put that up before the Cardinals lost to the 2 backup quarterbacks in the final 2 weeks of the season to why the Arizona Cardinals missed the playoffs, and of course Kyler Murray getting hurt.
And it was a turning point. It led to their collapse because it was the game after they had the Hail Mary win against Buffalo at home.
Yeah,
and it ended and we still hadn't lost 3 in a row. It was a turning point in our season, so to speak, because we had not lost and still have not lost 3 in a row since 2011, and we had picked the Cardinals.
Yeah, I remember that we had picked them because we were on that downhill, but we were going downhill from the way things were looking, and then let's not forget Carlos Dunlap had 2 of the 3 sacks, and I remember KJ Wright had a key stop on a third and 1. Kyler Murray tried to bootleg it out and try to do something with it. KJ had a big stop on that play, and man, definitely when you
led to the Cardinals collapse, I think, in the second half of their season.
And Cliff Kingsbury never recovered from that one, and I think from what it's been showing, Cliff Kingsbury is not fit for the job in Arizona, and Kyler Murray. he definitely costed him with that when he freaking crumbled under the pressure of Jamal Adams on the intentional grounding. He just crumbled on that, and ever since that game, basically it led to the Arizona Cardinals' downfall, especially in the final 2 weeks when they lost to the two backup quarterbacks to basically ruin their season. And basically, you can link it back to that Thursday night game that we wrecked the Retardinals' season.
Yeah, and we still have not lost, and we still have not gotten swept by the Cardinals. Still have not swept us since 2009.
Exactly, they have not swept us since 2009.
That was a thriller of a Thursday night game to end a 2-game losing streak, which we were on.
Hell yeah,
and
man.
We were feeling good about our chances because it was right after we lost back-to-back road games to the Bills and Rams.
Yeah, it definitely put momentum on our side for the remainder, you know. And that was
the tough part of our schedule.
We were in a gauntlet.
The last game of that gauntlet.
Yeah, we were in a pretty tough gauntlet.
And we got revenge on Arizona for that overtime loss in Arizona.
Yep.
And did not get swept by them.
Exactly.
And it led to their second half collapse.
It led to their downfall. It basically led to their downfall. Can't wait for next year to face them again, too. The only thing decent I would say they got is DeAndre Hopkins. That's it. Yeah, DeAndre Hopkins is about the only decent thing they got. And their linebacker, Isaiah Simmons, in the draft, and that's about it. And Larry Fitzgerald, who knows if he's going to be back next year for the Cardinals. But regardless, if he does retire, you know, he'll be first ballot Hall of Famer for sure.
Yeah, he will be.
Yeah. And that does it for our number 3 win of the season.
It was a thrilling win to get our season back on track.
Yep. All right, number 2 win is our Week 2 win, which me and Dallas streamed live. You remember that stream? Our Sunday night win in Week 2 at home against the Patriots when we streamed it live. Started out bad with the pick 6, and then after that, we responded back by driving down the field and hitting Tyler Lockett for the first touchdown. And I remember that night, Wilson had 5 touchdowns against a Bill Belichick defense. Bill Belichick's always been good with his defenses. Granted, the Patriots didn't have the season that they wanted, even with Cam Newton as their quarterback, and that was probably Cam Newton's best game that he had as a Patriot with what he did in that game against the Seahawks.
Yeah, it was. I just remember he threw all over us that game, and Edelman, I think, had 8 catches for 176 yards, and I don't know if he didn't play much this year, I don't think, Edelman, but he laid out for a deep ball, and he just torched us that game.
Edelman was killing us that entire game. And then, of course, everyone basically remembers Freddie Swain scored his first career touchdown on that drive. I remember Metcalf
Dunbar had a huge interception in the third quarter when it was like 21-17.
Yeah, but way before that though, let's not forget the play when Wilson aired it out and DK Metcalf torched the last year. Stephon Gilmore, when Gilmore was coming off of 2019 being the defensive player of the year, and Metcalf torched him. Metcalf just burnt him for the touchdown. That was an epic play. I remember that play where Metcalf beat Gilmore for the touchdown.
Oh yeah, you're right. Russell Wilson's last touchdown pass was over the top
to Chris Carson.
Chris Carson to put us up 12 with like 4:30 left, but.
And then came that fun.
Patriots went right down the field and scored with just over 2 minutes left. I think it was a touchdown pass to I think Cam Newton might have rushed. That might have been the Cam Newton rushing touchdown.
I think he might have threw it to the tight end. I don't remember, but then basically we got the ball and all we had to do was get a first down. Instead, we try to air it down deep to Lockett. He doesn't get it. And we put ourselves in that situation with the defense.
Oh, yeah, that final drive.
Oh yeah, that was tense. And then they get that 1st and goal, but they had no timeouts left, which was huge, and the time clicking. And then they tried to run Cam Newton. Lano Hill blows up the fullback, and LJ Collier stuffs Newton, and we win the game.
Yeah, it was a thrilling game. Right down to the wire, right down to the final play, like it always is between those two teams. He should have ran right, but instead he ran left, and that was the wrong decision.
Yeah, that was a hell of a game.
I thought for sure New England would score on that drive when we were watching it on the live stream.
Oh, we both did.
Nick Folk missing that field goal in like the first half loomed large.
Mm-hmm.
That like 54-yarder that he missed.
And then the Quentin Dunbar interception too.
Nice
Carlos
stomach
Dunlap.
was
Dunlap.
in knots that final drive.
Yeah, this is way before we made the trade for Dunlap too, and which we mentioned Dunlap having the killer game against the Arizona Cardinals too. But yeah,
Sunday night, another Sunday night thriller between the Patriots and the Seahawks.
Of course, just like in 2016 too, and the other matchups, it's like our matchups have always been thrillers. The last few times we played the Patriots.
And you could make a case that it was one of the reasons why New England finished below 500 that game right there against the Seahawks.
That was their first loss of the season.
Yeah.
Yeah, we gave them their first loss of the season after they came off of beating the Dolphins in Foxborough. And now let's get to the honorable mentions. First honorable mention, we have to this could not go unmentioned. Obviously, us sweeping the San Francisco 49ers, hence I busted out the broom after the other game. But that first game where we just kicked the crap out of them and their touchdowns were basically garbage time. And we just basically...
We injured Jimmy Garoppolo for the rest of the year. And pretty much they were right around like 500 around that time. And it just sent them into a tailspin.
Oh, yeah, I would say that loss ruined the rest of their season when they lost Garoppolo and then when they lost Kittle until the end of the season.
Yeah.
Yeah, that basically ruined the rest of their season. Those sweeping the 49ers is definitely an honorable mention. That's for sure. I definitely loved when we swept them. First time we swept the division rivals since 2018 when we swept the Cardinals. So that definitely felt good to get that. All right, another honorable mention I would say, is our win against the Washington football team. Against that, they're going to have a bright future with Chase Young on their pass rush, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And that was a tough game. Granted, we still were facing Dwayne Haskins and not Alex Smith.
We had a big lead, let him come back, and we had to hold off one final drive, but we were able to do it. It was an ugly win, but it clinched a playoff berth for us.
Yeah, L.J. Collier and Carlos Dunlap coming up big with the 2 sacks. Any other honorable mention you want to mention, Dallas? What would be another good honorable mention? Thought we had one up in there, too. Whew, never mind. Screw that. Those will be our honorable mentions.
Maybe beating Miami.
Oh, yeah, beating Miami.
Maybe being the only team in the NFC West
Oh,
beat Miami.
Oh, yeah, we were the only team in the NFC West. And plus, that Miami... That's right, I was thinking about that. Getting the Florida monkey off our back when we went down to Miami and beat the Dolphins.
Russell Wilson wins his first game in the state of Florida.
Yeah, exactly. Wilson...
And we held him out of the end zone until that final drive that they had.
Yeah, basically most of their points came from their kicker, Sanders. I remember that. I collaborated with TD Finstock. He was cool. He's a cool dude, man. Shout out Tony Dow, man. I think he just celebrated a birthday yesterday.
That was a good win, the win in Miami.
Yeah, that was a good one.
It was hot. You're right, Russell Wilson finally got the Florida monkey off his back.
Yeah. All right. And now finally, last but not least, our number one win of the 2020 NFL season, the miracle win against the Minnesota Vikings, where basically we should have really have lost that game, but Mike Zimmer made the biggest critical mistakes to screw his team ultimately in the end. Like, one, when they should have, near the end, they really should have, like later on when they got one of the touchdowns after, I think, the interception, I don't know if it was before the interception, but they really should not have gone for 2 early on. They went for 2 points too early, and then later on, I think, when was that 4th down stop? Was that after the interception?
Oh, yeah, it was after that Russell Wilson interception at midfield, and I thought the game was over.
Yeah, I remember.
We were down 5.
Yeah, and then they're in field goal range. They could have easily put the game out of reach with an easy chip shot field goal. Instead, they try to go for it to try to burn the clock, and then we get that huge stuff on 4th and inches, and then we get the ball back, and then we go on that. How long of a drive was that again?
I think it was like a 94-yard drive.
Yeah, I think so too. 94 yards down the field. Then we get held into fourth down, and then Russell Wilson throws a beautiful pass up to DK Metcalf to convert it and get a big chunk play. I was watching that game in Seattle, by the way, outside of Alice Gourmet.
It was a Sunday night game. It was horrible weather. We had an absolute dud of a first half.
Yeah, and then
Russell
KJ Wright.
sacked 4 times.
KJ Wright had a nice interception, and he should have really had a scoop and score because that really was a fumble earlier, and that play should not have been blown dead, and KJ Wright should have had a scoop and score. I remember.
Oh, yeah, that one-handed pick against Cousins.
Yeah, and then, of course, I think we hit DK Metcalf for a touchdown. Will Dissly scored, and Chris Carson had a nice touchdown run in that game, too, and then before the other stuff happened. And then
that deep shot, the 4th and 10.
Yeah.
Through the raindrops.
Yeah, he hit Metcalf to convert that fourth down. Then we continue to drive downfield, and then we get to the red zone, and we get held. We thought Metcalf caught the game winner earlier, but that was knocked out incomplete. And then I think we missed Lockett on a play. I don't remember if we missed Lockett on a play, but that drive was so tense. I remember the fourth down play, the 4th and goal, and then that 4th down play was crazy. I think they set up an all-out blitz on that 4th down play where we hit Metcalf for the winner?
I think they might have.
Yeah, they sent everyone up. Wilson throws like a dart, and Metcalf catches it, gets a perfect hand with Harrison. I think Harrison Smith was on him, and for Minnesota, I think it was Harrison Smith, and Metcalf catches it for that game-winning touchdown, and basically with like 15 seconds left, and then we basically get a strip on Cousins, a fumble, which basically ran the clock all the way down to 0, and we got that win. And, man, all because of those Mike Zimmer mistakes was the reason we won that game against Minnesota. And that's why that's that's number one.
He couldn't kick a chip shot field goal and got greedy. He thought he could pick up, I think it was like 4th and 1 we stopped, 4th and inches.
And then he went for 2 points too early where he should have kicked the PAT.
It was at the end of like the 3rd quarter when they were down 8. I know Steelers got 2 of their touchdowns.
Yeah. But that to me is our number 1 win right there.
I mean, we snatched. What's the saying? We snatched victory from the jaws of defeat.
Yeah.
It was a Sunday night game. Oh yeah, and then it improved our record to a franchise record 5-0 start. We had never started 5-0.
And then we went into the bye. And then I think we went into the bye week after that.
Yeah, it was a bye. We had a bye week after that.
Yeah. And there you have it. That is our top 5 wins of the year. Let us know your top 5 wins for the Seahawks 2020 season. Your top 5 Seahawks wins of the 2020 season down in the comments down below. And if you're new, make sure to hit the subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications, and like the video. And basically another season, Seahawks season come and gone, and another year of doing our favorite wins of the year. And that's basically it.
I think that was a good. I think that was a good list. I don't think anybody can disagree with number 1. Now, if the miracle against frickin' Minnesota didn't happen, we were gonna originally put the Week 2 Sunday night goal line stand against New England at number 1. But I don't think anybody will have a problem with what number 1 was.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I think
either.
that's a consensus number 1. It was a huge reason why the Vikings didn't make the playoffs.
It was. And then I think the following week after that, they got pistol whipped by Atlanta.
Yeah.
I remember that. All right, catch y'all later. If you ain't with it, you ain't infamous. And as always, go Seahawks.